Okay, hey guys, so today we are going to be finding the volume and surface area of cones. Um, we've already done a little bit of volume from last week on Friday. Today we're going to be learning about surface area. But first, actually, well, your homework is going to be practice 4 from page 171, numbers 1B and D only. We'll be doing A and C together. It's a really short homework assignment because tomorrow is going to be a double lesson and a little bit longer, okay? But first, let's start out just with a pretty basic review. So we have these two shapes. What is this one called? So this is what we were working with before. This is called a cylinder, okay? And this is going to be the shape that we're working with today. This is our cone, okay? Stop the video first. Do you remember the equations to find the volume and the surface area of a cylinder? Stop the video, figure it out, okay? So to find the volume of a cylinder, it is pi r squared. This is finding the area of one circle, and then we want to multiply that by h, our height. So from top through bottom, right? And then of course this is the value r, our radius. Okay, so then the surface area, we have 2 pi r squared. So that's going to be the area of both circles. And this time we are going to add that by the area of that rectangle that wraps around. So height times pi 2r, okay? Pi 2r, so we know what our height is, that's from top to bottom. Pi 2r is the value of our circumference, right? And the circumference is the distance that it takes to wrap around a circle. So that's the equation for surface area. Now stop the video again and see, do you remember what is the equation to find the volume of a cone? Stop the video, figure it out. Okay, so it is pi r squared times height, exactly the same as the volume of our cylinder, except how many, do you remember that last video, how many cones did it take to fill up a cylinder of the same height and the same diameter? 3, okay? So now this is what we're going to be learning today. This is new stuff. We're going to look more in depth on the equation for a surface area on the next page, but it is absolutely necessary. You must understand Pythagoras' theorem in order to be successful today. If you did not complete Monday's homework, you must stop the video. You must complete Monday's homework. Please email me or message me if you want to video call one-on-one and I can help you. But you must have a good understanding of Pythagoras' theorem in order to be successful, okay? So the equation to find the surface area of a cone is pi r squared. So again, the area of that circle. And to that, once again, we are going to add pi r times L. We haven't seen the variable L yet. Here we saw H for height in both places, but L is new. And L is this distance here. And the reason that we have to understand Pythagoras' theorem really, really well is because if I don't know what this side is, but I do know what my radius is, and I do know what my height is, then I can use Pythagoras' theorem in order to find this value here, okay? So it's really, really essential that you understand that before we move on. So here, once again, is our equation. Identifying h is our, so h is our height of the cone. Sometimes that'll also be represented like this. That also will be h for height. We also have r, as we've had in past, right here, okay? And then lastly, a new variable L, which is our slant. Or in terms of Pythagoras' theorem, this is our our hypotenuse, not our hypothesis, which is what I was going to write. Our hypotenuse. So, because if I were to draw a straight line down here, a straight line across here, and then this line here, the three connect to create a right angle, and therefore a right angle triangle, which we can solve using Pythagoras' theorem. Now, if you'll remember, h squared plus r squared equals L squared. That is going to be the equation that we will use, but not right away, okay? So first of all, let's take a look at example A. I'm going to do this one together before you do 1B on your own, okay? So here we have our equation. Now we have our information. This value here, 4, measures this distance here. So that is our L value. L equals 4. This here is my radius, 3. So I have all of the values that I need to substitute into this equation. I'm going to write it again down here. Just because I think it's easier always to work directly beneath your original equation. So again, surface area equals pi brackets around the 3 squared plus pi, holy smokes, 3, oh shish kebab, I'm losing my mind. Okay, let me check. All right, that matches up. Okay, so I have substituted all of my values correctly. I've got my R, which is 3. And I've got my L, which is 4. Okay. Now, my variable is isolated on the left side. All I have on this side are numbers. So when I'm simplifying, sorry, I kind of forget old habits. All right. In America, we use PEMDAS, not BODMAS. Okay, so I have all of my values over here. I'm just simplifying. So I'm not trying to move things to the other side. I'm not trying to go in reverse order. I want to go in regular order. So I'm not going to use SADMOB. I'm going to use BODMAS. Okay, so starting out first, B for brackets. When I look inside my brackets, I don't have anything that needs to be simplified inside of my brackets. So I can go ahead and I can move on to the next stage, which is O for exponents. So here I've got my exponent. I want to apply this first before I go any further. So surface area equals pi times 9 plus pi times 3 times 4. Okay, well now I've done my exponents. I want to move on to multiplication and division. Okay, so looking here, I want to multiply these two numbers together, and I want to multiply these three numbers together to see what it is that I get. 9 times pi equals 28.274. Pi times 3 times 4 equals 37.699. And now that I've reached the end, I can go ahead and combine through addition and subtraction. So now I want to combine these two. 28,274 plus 37,699 equals, my surface area is 65.973. And this is going to be surface area, centimeters squared. But the directions ask you to answer with 1 decimal point. The 7 makes the 9 round up. So really, that's going to be 66 centimeters squared. Okay, what I want you to do right now is stop the video and you try 1B now, okay? Stop the video, try 1B before we move on. Okay, so you've solved 1B, you've looked in the back of the book and you've checked your answer. Now let's move on to 1C together. And this is where we really are going to have to know this Pythagorean theorem, okay? So I'm going to start out first by identifying what do I have. So I have this number 10, which is my diameter. But I don't really want my diameter. I want my radius, which I know is always half my diameter, and therefore 5. Next, I have this value 6. Well, when I'm looking at that, that is the same thing as my height here. I don't really want my height. What I really want to have is my L for my slant, but I don't know what that is, okay? So when I'm trying to substitute values into my equation, I don't have L. So I'm going to start out by finding out what that is first. And I can do that with the Pythagorean theorem. So here, I know that h squared plus r squared equals L squared. Okay, so I have my height, which is 6. I have my radius, which is 5. And I do not know my length or my slant yet for L. So first thing that I want to do is I want to simplify. 6 squared is 36. 5 squared is 25. Add these together. 6 plus 5 is 11. 1, carry the 1. 3 plus 2 is 5. Carry the 1. 61 equals L squared. The square and my square root cancel out. leaving me the square root of 61 equals L. So I'm going to plug this into my calculator, and it gives me a length of 7.8. Okay, now I have my L. And I can come back to this equation. And I can substitute in my values, okay? So again, all of my numbers are already isolated on the right side. So I'm going to use BODMAS. Looking at my B for brackets. Inside of each bracket, there's nothing to simplify. So I move on to the next, which is O for exponents. So I want to square the 5 next. So surface area equals pi times 25. Good. Now, I want to do multiplication and division. So I want to multiply these two numbers together, and then these two numbers together. Great. Now I'm on to addition or subtraction. Doesn't matter which I do, both can come at the same time. But here I'm only adding these two together. And my unit is centimeters squared. And so that is my answer, okay? So now, your homework. Your homework is to find, okay? So for your homework, you want to find the volume and surface area for each cone, number 1B and number 1D, okay? Please submit a picture on ManageBack. And that's all. Message me. If you just want to say hi, that's okay too. Like, we can have a video call and we'll just chat about nothing. Or we can chat about math, whatever you want. Thanks, and I'll see you guys soon.